All right, Quinn was 74 weld, and here in front of me I have a Ranger Raptor Portal. So this unit here is, I guess I'll run through all the specs on it to start. Like much of our other platforms, it's a 1.22 gear reduction. It is fully ABS compatible. It keeps your factory 6-on-5.5 wheel pattern. Yes, you can run your factory wheels that come on the Ranger Raptor. Those are a plus 55. You can also run our plus 45 wheel that we released with Method. We're sold out of those. We have another batch coming. Thanks for everybody that bought those. And so 1.22 ratio, it's a 3.9-inch lift. Now, one thing on this that we're starting to kind of talk a bit more about is this unit bearing that's on here is a new product for us. We've developed this over the last year. It's a custom 99-04 Super Duty bearing pack, 6-on-5.5, that has all of the factory magnetic encoder for the electronics for ABS integrated into it. So we're not cheating your ABS system. We're giving it the exact wheel speed sensor and magnetic encoder that it comes with from the factory. The front, we do allow you to, if you want, to run a double shear setup. And so if you're gonna run like a Fouts or RPG Heim joint steering, we have provisions for that. The gear set that's in this is identical to all of our other platforms. So it crosses over from Jeep to Toyota stuff to Bronco, Ranger Raptor. It's the same tooth profile and upper lower gear. The only difference is upper gears are broached application specific, but it's a gear set that we have 2.5 years on, hundreds of vehicles, tons of testing, both on and off-road. It's a very proven unit. On the rear of Ranger Raptor, we do several other things. So we convert you, I guess we don't really convert you to a full float. It comes with a full float bearing pack from the factory, but that is a 32 spline unit. We give you 4340 through hardened axle shafts, 35 spline outer, and then we match the inner. So it's a full float and disc conversion. We give you a larger disc brake on the rear. You still retain your factory caliper. On the front, larger rotor again, so it has a bit better braking power, stopping power out of those. And we've actually done road testing on this specific platform because this is being introduced by Ultimate Off-Road Center in Australia. So as part of the Australian roadworthy testing, we have to go through and do a 60, 80, and 100 kilometer brake test, as well as a evasive maneuver, essentially swerve testing. And on all of those, we're actually exceeding the factory specs. So we take a Ranger Raptor, we lift it, raise the center of gravity. I hear what you're saying, but our swerve and braking tests are better than factory because in the process of raising you 3.9 inches, we widen the vehicle out about 3.5 inches per side, and overall, it's a more capable, more stable platform, and we give you the room to run a 37-inch tire. And why I think a Portal is so critical for a vehicle like the Ranger Raptor is there really is no way to lift a Ranger Raptor without sacrificing massively on the suspension. And what I mean by that is the Ranger Raptor comes from the factory with Fox live valve shocks. And I'm gonna get a couple of the guys from Fox's race department to come in and talk with us, shoot a video on this of what is live valve, how is it applied in both racing and the OEM applications, and specifically how it works. So we'll do a segment on that separate from this. But essentially, it's a computer-controlled suspension that knows where the vehicle is or where it is in its suspension cycle at all times by a position sensor. And What live valve can do then is to allow for more or less fluid to flow based on that position, and they can do it based on shaft speed, they can do it based on physical position of where the piston is in its travel. But the point of this is, if you're going to lift a vehicle like this, there's really only one way to do it, which is with a portal. If you do it the conventional way, meaning unbolt that shock and bolt on a new one, you're taking this technology, which is phenomenal, and you're throwing it out the window. And that to me is just a deal breaker. And what I will say is Fox is not developing a lift shock for this vehicle. It's not in the works. It may happen 5 years down the road, but I doubt it. But we will be. And so Ranger Raptor comes with a 2.5-inch internal bypass from Fox. It integrates into your whole computer electronic system, and I'll be honest, I don't know. I guess you probably could eliminate that. I don't know if it'll throw codes on the dash, but if you're going to take a Fox shock off with live valve and put a King shock on because you like a fancy color, don't be offended, but I think you're an idiot, because the suspension on this vehicle is really good. It rides nice and tight on road. It takes really good, you can jump the vehicle. It takes hits off road. It's taken this suspension technology to the next level and giving it to you from the factory. And I just don't see anything else out there that's going to compare to this, which is kind of one of the reasons that it's such a good platform. Just all around, the truck rides phenomenal. It handles great on-road, great off-road. And so we're going to be developing a bunch of products for this platform. Everything from a Fox 3.0 internal bypass custom-built shock that integrates live valve. We're going to have that in the works. Upper arms, links, lots of stuff. I get a lot of requests for the light bar on this thing. We do have that kind of coming down the pipe. But when it comes to lifting a Ranger Raptor and going to a larger tire, this is really the first platform that I can honestly say this is the only proper way to do it. And you know, you can make the argument for Jeep that portals are great, and in certain circumstances, like if your favorite place to wheel is Moab, I don't know that you need a portal. I think a long arm kit is going to be just as good, if not better, in certain circumstances. But given the fact that it looks to me like as the technology is progressing, more and more OEMs are going to go to live valve. It's just kind of the next evolution in suspension technology, and trying to integrate live valve into anything other than the typical shock that it comes with is just not really going to happen. So then you're stuck with, okay, how do I lift the vehicle? You can throw the whole suspension away and give up live valve, or you can move to a portal, keep all of that stuff, and the suspension just works. The additional weight of the portal does not appear to be an issue at all. And while live valve on this vehicle is only on compression, we get the comments of, oh, you're changing unsprung mass. Yeah, you are. But that can easily be compensated for in valving, and we'll kind of play with that when we develop this new shock package along with Fox. And so these are all kind of things, I mean, the reality is the amount of weight that you're adding on this is 25 pounds over factory. The amount of weight you're going to add when going from a 33 to a 37-inch tire is more than that, depending on the tire and what you ran before and after. But, you know, it really comes down to the suspension on these vehicles is getting more and more advanced. And for us as a company, this is a phenomenal thing, because we can actually stand back and say, look, the only good way to lift a vehicle is with a portal when you're talking about a computer-controlled suspension. So This releases on September 18th, and we will be building these things as fast as possible because based on initial release info, you guys seem to be jumping on board with portals for a Ranger Raptor. So follow us on all kind of areas of social media. We're on YouTube and Instagram, and we'll have all kinds of product updates on both this as well as other stuff for the Ranger Raptor in the works. And we'll bring you more content as we move down that road. Thanks, guys.